Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we're talking with Mr. Bobby Wills of Willing Records. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a nice fun conversation. It's not every day I get to talk to record label people.
Yeah, but nobody wants to talk to the record people, to be clear, but I appreciate you doing it.
For sure. So I guess the first thing to start is how did you get started with a record label? Like how does that all come about?
Yeah, gosh, I mean, it's a long story. I had an artist career here in Canada for, I was at it for 25 years. The last 10 years, we were on MDM Recordings, based in Ontario. And, we had a good run. And when everything was kind of slowing down and we, looking to, what is the future? Where do we go from here? And I knew I wanted to be in music, and just had a passion for trying to get involved in developing artists. So we did a little work with that, volunteered and did some panels and, those kinds of things to try to, be a positive influence on that group of artists. And just found that we loved it so much that we thought maybe it was time to invest a little in some up and coming artists and maybe give them a chance that we didn't really get, with a little more support in the early stages. And there's lots of mistakes that can be made and lots of money that gets spent in the wrong ways.
Mhm.
And so we just felt really compelled to dive into it.
How does the like process of like putting all the pieces together for a label work?
Oh man, that's a good question. We made it up as we went, in truth. I've been around the labels, the indie labels, enough over the years to sort of have a handle on it. We brought our idea to Universal Music and said, here's what we want to do. We don't want to be, sort of the typical label that you deal with. We want to do something a little different, again, that's focused on discovery and development. And we wanted to do partner deals with our artists, which is very different, which is just to say that they're partners in our business with us, as opposed to, signings, if you will.
Okay.
Universal loved the idea and, a little bit surprisingly, really got behind it and helped us. And that's really how we got off the ground. And from there, it was, putting out some music. I started with my own music, because if I was going to make some mistakes, I figured it was probably better to make them with my own
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then we signed a band out of Edmonton called the Prairie States. They were our first signing,
Okay.
uh, and Universal Music was poking around them as well. So we got together on that one, and did it together. And then our next signing was a young guy out of Langley, BC, called Tony Stevens.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so what do you look for when you're looking to like connect with artists and work with them?
There's a lot of various things. Because we're on the development side, really the thing we're focused most on, is songs are that's really one of the most important pieces of any artist's career is quality of songs, quality of voice, and someone who's willing to be patient, and do the work. I think the biggest mistake developing artists make is that it's such a rush to, oh, we got to get music out. I got to get this career going. And, the only thing you can do quickly, one of my favorite quotes actually from a fellow by the name of Walt Aldridge, who's a famous, Hall of Fame songwriter guy. And he told me once that the only thing you can do quickly in the music business is fail. So, so we're looking for artists who understand sort of where they're at, are willing to do the development work, and willing to be patient. And it's worked out for us so far.
Hmm. Have you guys put together like a blueprint of the basic steps you want to go with an artist and then kind of see where they flow from there?
Yes, I think sort of like there is a basic step-by-step process. Some artists enter it a little faster. The Prairie States for example, had already put out music. So we felt our job with them was to come in and try to build up the back end a little, give them a little more support, open as many of the doors, from my career and from the Universal Music Group, that we could for them, and then introduce new music. So they were a little quicker. Tony Stevens, on the other hand, was a very much an unknown commodity, writing songs, in Langley. And Universal Music brought him to me and said, this young man is clearly very talented, but it's really, early. He doesn't have a fan base to speak of. you know, outside of his small group of people around him. And but we think he's got the talent. So when we honed in the songs, in Tony's case, the songs are just so great that we felt that it was worth getting in on.
Hmm. So Universal, you guys kind of work in tandem with some of these things, and they're you back and forth with them.
Yeah, they're you know, the A&R team over at Universal and then our label services team have been incredibly supportive of us. You know, it's still an indie label. We're still, you know, modest in our size and you know, where we are today, but their help has been invaluable and their kindness. I mean, really, they've done a lot of things for us that really go beyond the scope of any, you know, real agreement. So we're pretty thankful to have them.
Hmm. And one of the nice things I was reading about when doing some research, you guys have a bunch of award nominations coming up for the CCMAs. How did that feel to hear all that?
Yeah, I think we have a long ways to go until we're really truly in the, you know, in that class of folks that we're nominated with from a label and entertainment side, from the business side of the equation. But we'll take it very much as validation that you know, we're moving in the right direction and people are starting to take notice. Our artists are starting to thrive, and it's great to sort of be seen that way for sure. As modest as we are, we're also very, very excited to have our names there.
Hmm. Now, you having the musician background, was it hard to balance the idea of I know what a musician wants on one side, but now I have a label side and trying to put them together?
Yeah, I actually I think it was the easiest part just because I knew the things I knew the you know the pits that we fell in over the years and the mistakes we made, and so we wanted to build something that helped navigate some of those things. Also the financials of it. It's a strange business, and you know, where the money comes from and how to collect the money and how to assign the money and who gets paid and who doesn't. All those things can be really, really challenging, and they can really set an artist back. We had a tough go with that early in our career. And, you know, so for me, it was really designing an artist friendly label. If there's been any challenge, it's trying to, you know, it's just making sure that it's still balanced enough that we can be successful too on the label side.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess there would be a lot of different like places you have to look at for that.
Yeah, we just want to balance it. I mean, if we can be successful, then obviously our artists will be more successful. But we also want to be artist friendly. Our goal really is to build artists to a level where we can't help them anymore. It's literally our goal is to do that, and then you know, provide them and help them find that next level of opportunity.
Hmm.
So we take a real we're not hanging on to anybody or you know, trying to build contracts that are like you're with me forever. We're really trying to lift artists up. So it's actually makes it a lot easier when the outcome isn't one of fear, it's one of desire, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. Now, is there been any really fun moments that you've seen when some of the evolution of these artists? Like, is there ones that stand out that are like, man, we did this. This is fun.
Yeah, so many of those. You know, in my artist career, things were a blur. You know, we did 10 years and woke up one day and it was like, wow, all this stuff just happened. So we try to remind our group to take, you know, the moments when they cross. You know, seeing the Prairie States break the top 30 on their first single with us was an incredible moment for them and for us, and a real hallmark. And then watching them get to play Country Thunder right here in Calgary, where I live, in front of 20,000 people was, you know, one of those moments that you just never forget. There's so many of them. And now with Tony, we dropped a song called Whiskey in Colorado, and our whole team thought the song was a hit. But radio is so tough these days, and there's so many great acts, especially here in the Canadian landscape, that deserve airtime and deserve playlists and all those things. It's such a tough grind, and we were able to hang in with Tony. We released the song in January, and it peaked at number 8 in just 2 weeks ago. So we had an 8-month run with the song, and it's just been awesome to watch the growth.
Hmm. Now, with all the craziness that happens around a label and things like that, what do you do to stay grounded and keep yourself kind of centered and able to do things?
Oh gosh, you know, we have 3 kids, and 2 dogs. And I also work in the automotive space as well. So, we're really, really busy and running, and wouldn't have it any other way. The music business is so up and down. It's very manic in its behavior. You go from real highs to real lows, sometimes more than once in a day.
Mhm.
Watching, especially watching other artists on a personal level, it's tough, and I found it even tougher to to go through it with our artists. I thought it would be easier, but I was wrong. You get to live the highs with them, but you also get to feel the lows.
Yeah,
So we
and
just
you
stay
have
busy with
that.
all this stuff.
Kids definitely do ground you too. I have a almost 2-year-old daughter and then another son
Good
on
for
the way.
you. Good for you. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, my kids are older. I've got a 26-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 15-year-old.
Okay.
So yeah, we started young and finished late. It wasn't exactly the best plan, but we're so the young one's still in the house and keeps us young, and it's good. It really does put things into perspective. There's no question.
I started late and finished late, so
That a boy.
but my wife told me she had a time frame and I guess I hit that. That's all that really matters.
That's right. Do what
Mhm.
you're told, you'll be fine. That's how it works. Yep.
Now, a fun question I'd like to ask is what is something that you've learned about yourself as a musician and now, label person over the years?
Hmm. Um, I think I'm more optimistic in my view of the music business than I thought I was. It's so easy to be very cynical about it. Again, because of it's very personal and it's very subjective. So it's sometimes hard not to take it personally. But I found in the last number of years, I've become very optimistic about the future of the music business. And I think in general, it's something that, I have more optimism than I thought I did, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely the music industry is in a unique spot right now where the digital age allows so much
Hmm.
expansion, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, it's wild. There's so much change and it's coming so fast. And I think most of it's good. There's some scary stuff as always. But music is one of the most um, reliable, mediums in the world right now, thanks to the streamers, which of course at the beginning was, everybody was very stressed out about that because you didn't have that big album sales surge that, everybody counted on and used as the marker for success. But the streamers have really created a sustainable model where artists have some long-term opportunity. So, that's been a nice change. And again, there's that optimism. That was something that I don't know that I truly understood until this last 3 or 4 years when we started the label side, starting to see what, some of that opportunity means.
Mhm. Now, on the back end of my interviews, I like to ask some more out of the box questions, make you think a little bit more. And you'll
Sure.
probably have a unique thought on this one is what's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Oh, goodness. What should be asked more in an interview? Um, what kept you going through the tough times?
Okay.
Like, what was the thing that, because every artist I know and everybody in the business, I mean, we always laugh that the only consistent thing I see with artists that are successful is that they didn't quit.
Yeah,
So,
really. That's
so sometimes I wonder, like, what was it for you that got you through when you should have quit? For me, it was just the love of the music was just too strong. I just was too dumb to quit. But hopefully people have better answers than that.
no, it's a good one. I like that one. It provides almost like some insights, I guess, to people. All right, so another fun one then is what's something on your go-to playlist that people wouldn't expect you listen to?
Ah, oh, good question. I have a few that would probably surprise people. I still listen to country music probably dominantly in my playlist, partly because of business, but partly because I love it. I'm still a huge Merle Haggard and Keith Whitley fan, so I go back to the throwback stuff. But I think people would be surprised to like we listen to Michael Bublé in our house all the time,
Okay.
and some of that type of jazz and vocal jazz, and really love U2 still. They're still a major part of my playlist from the day.
Mm. Yeah, no, there's definitely some great songs you almost have to keep them in your playlist just because they're
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's also, being that was like growing up stuff. So it still harkens you back to those days. So it's got a value for sure.
Now, is there anyone out there that you're listening to you think more people should be listening to? Like they're not getting enough play?
Well, can I just say the Prairie States? That's the easy answer. The band is so incredible. Anybody that sees them lives is like, whoa, what's this? And frankly, their loyalty numbers when you look at people finding the band and then staying with the band are staggering.
Hmm.
So I'd love for more people to hear them. As far as music outside of that, there's a gal from Ontario who I don't know, but I listen to all the time named Madison Kozak, great singer-songwriter. She's got a couple songs that just crush us. They're so great. So that's another young lady that we think deserves more attention.
Yeah, I've had the chance to talk to the guys from the Prairie States before, and I think I have another one coming up with them sometime
Yeah.
this week even. And they're definitely great guys, and I haven't got to see them live yet, which sucks, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, well, they'll be performing at CCMAs in Edmonton. So if you're down there, or if anybody's down there, there's a party on the 13th that we're hosting. The Willing Records and MDM Records actually are hosting together, and
Okay.
the boys will be ripping that up. So if you're in Edmonton, shoot me a note.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see about getting out there, but I'm based in Ottawa, and that's right
Yeah.
around when, well, so my wife's due in October, so
Oh,
I,
yeah, you don't want to
I have to plan that out if I'm
mess
gonna do
that
it.
up.
Yeah, exactly. But if not, I'm hoping to have someone from the team out there at very least.
Yeah, well, shoot me a note. They are one of the best live bands you'll see. Part of the reason we signed them is that that some things you can teach, some things you can learn,
Mhm.
but these guys just their chemistry on stage. Matt's vocal delivery is off the rails. Never seen anything quite like it. So it's definitely worth the 90 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds good. Now we're in the midst of festival season. What are your festival must-haves?
Oh, festival must-haves. Well, I prefer the all access pass. That usually makes it is that a crappy answer? Kind of makes it easier because we could, hide backstage during all the traffic. But no, jokes aside, a really good, comfortable chair is a must, an
Mhm.
absolute must. Comfort over fashion when it comes to shoes, that's a must. And get as close as possible because the experience is worth it.
Yeah, so I'm primarily a photographer. I actually get out and cover. I was just at Boots and Hearts.
Nice.
I get to go out front and do all those things, and it's so interesting to see the other side, like watching the crowd come in and fill in, all that fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I love you'll do sound check early in the afternoon and it'll be an empty field and you'll go back and get dressed and change and do whatever you can do, have your lunch and then by the time you head back to the stage, there's 5, 10, 15,000, depending on what time you're on and it's just
Mhm.
such a transformation. It's awesome.
Yeah, things get pretty crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, who plays you in the movie of your life?
Oh, I mean, Matt Damon, right?
Oh, there
Come
you
on.
go.
Matt Damon, sure. Even though I think he's actually older than me, but I'm sure it will work out fine.
Well, they can CG youngerness
Yeah,
now.
right. De-age him
Yeah.
and ugly him a little bit.
Hmm. If you if you were to give a message from the label to, fans and everyone kind of looking in, what would the label message be?
Oh, good question. I mean, our primary goal is development. So if you're interested to see what's coming next, we got you. That's what we're doing. We're going to bring young Canadians to market and give you an opportunity to see brand new stuff that you didn't know existed, and it's awesome.
Mhm. Is there any real good tidbits of advice you would give to musicians coming up and trying to work their way into a position like this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few key things. Number one, don't give up, because that's the one consistent thing, as we talked about, that artists that are successful have. They didn't give up, even when it gets really tough. It's not the best singers or the best writers that often get through. It's the guys with the perseverance, who often become the best singers and writers because of the perseverance. Number two is be a good hang. Don't take yourself too seriously when you're writing with others or collaborating, just be a good hang. Don't take it too seriously. And lastly, be patient because it doesn't happen overnight. Just there's so many moments of little critical things that happen over the timeline, that builds you to a position where all of a sudden a label or a manager or a publisher see what you're doing and decide that's the moment to take you on. And so instead of spending you know all your time looking way forward, just do the work today. And that's the advice I'd give. Be patient, just do today's work, and if you do that every day, you'll get there.
Mhm. What would someone have to do in an elevator pitch to catch your interest?
It's a good question. I mean, it has to start with great songs. I think our company is built on songs, and so I would say, a great song will get us started. Um, and then, a plan. What is your plan? It's so rare that we have that artists come with us with a plan, or even really a sense of their brand and who they are. So spending some time thinking about, what are you? What's your goal? What do you represent? What's unique about you? Those are important things to build into your career and into your elevator pitch.
Mhm. Yeah, we've actually, so Hidden Beats is starting to work with indie artists here in Ottawa, and we're doing a whole project with them in one of the breweries and trying to help them push themselves a little bit more and figure out like, hey, we can deliver some packages for you to help you boost your brand.
Yeah, nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's so hard. A lot of those questions are really hard to answer. I remember as an artist, someone asked me those questions. I was like, I don't know, I'm just country singer, like,
Hmm.
that really is the answer. But there's so many unique things that individuals bring to the table, and setting yourself apart. There are a ton of guys and gals who can sing great, who can write great. So what sets you apart? And sometimes it's the little things.
Yeah, exactly. And those things are going to be the ones that push you forward.
100%.
Hmm. So last question, I think the most important is, are you happy?
Yes, I would say that I'm very happy. It's been an adventure. We started the label in 2021, just on the back end of that shutdown period, and really weren't sure where it was going to go. We started, as I said, with my music, and expanded to the Prairie States and Tony Stevens, and it's just been an incredible ride. I'm thrilled, and it's been a lot of work, and there's been a lot of punches in the nose. So to say that I'm happy is a fact. To say that it's been easy would not be true, but we're really thrilled with where we are, and really happy. I find it very, very fulfilling to get to work with developing artists, and get to be get to be on the sidelines of their career as it grows. It's just been um, incredibly meaningful to us.
I actually started these interviews around the same time because I couldn't get out and shoot shows really. So
Right.
interviews kind of picked up and did the same thing. And now we're working on about 150 a year now.
Amazing. Good for you, man. Good for you. But that's how it goes, right? It's the same thing we talked about. It's one foot in front of the other. You buy a podcaster and a microphone and a camera, and you go, okay, I guess I'm doing this today. And you build
Hmm.
it. And look at you. That's exactly what we've done. And I think that's what artists need to know, is that's how it works. One piece at a time, and get good at that, and then move to the next one.
Yeah, just one foot in front of the other and keep moving,
Yep.
and everyone will get somewhere somehow.
Yep. That's right.
All right, well, it was great to get to pick your brain a little bit. It was fun to hear some of the industry sides of things, and I think a lot of people actually are interested in things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery around it. So we always want to help our artists and anybody that needs help. We're here. Love to debunk some of the things, and offer some advice that candidly we didn't get when I was starting out.
Hmm. So where can people find you, the label, things like that on social media to follow and keep up?
Yeah, it's just Willing Records. So across Facebook and Instagram, it's Willing Records, easy to find. You can always check Bobby Will's music as well. They're interconnected, of course. And we have a website, willingrecords.com, that is actually just going to be up right before CCMA. So we'll have some opportunities for some feedback, etc. there.
Nice. I definitely want to take a look and see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will sign off, and I mean, I'm sure we'll stay connected, and hopefully I'll get to maybe get out to Edmonton and see everyone.
Yeah, man. Well, if not, we'll be out to Ottawa at some point, so we'll make sure we connect.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
All right. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you also. Bye now.